Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Fraser to make his convocation address. Dr. Fraser.
Mr. President and Vice Chancellor, Mr. Chair of the Board of Governors, honored platform guests, graduating class, family and friends, let me begin by saying how honored I am to receive this degree from Concordia. One of the immense privileges of my role as Commissioner of Official Languages has been to learn what universities are doing with and for the communities in which they live. And it's been a particular pleasure to see the inception and growth of the Quebec English-Speaking Communities Research Network, an impressive initiative launched within the School of Extended Learning to enhance the vitality of Quebec's English-speaking communities. It's a tradition that recipients of honorary degrees give the graduates some benefit of their experience in the form of advice. I must say I was impressed by the remarks of David Golden, a renowned former deputy minister in Ottawa, who was given an honorary degree when he was in his 90s. He said, "I accepted this because most people think I'm dead. I was told to be short. That won't be a problem. I was also told to give you advice. I'm not going to do that. Go out and make your own mistakes." Well, I won't be that short. And while I don't intend to give you advice exactly, let me at least share some of the things that I've learned over the years that you might find useful. Tout d'abord, j'aimerais souligner le fait que la fin de vos études coïncide avec l'un des événements sociaux les plus marquants de notre époque. J'ai moi-même terminé mes études en 1968 et l'expression « mai 68 » résonne encore aujourd'hui comme un jalon symbolique des contestations sociales des années 1960. Votre président du conseil étudiant observait que l'école John Molson n'a pas été aussi durement touchée par la grève des derniers mois que certaines autres facultés de l'université. Néanmoins, vous êtes bien placé pour voir la tournure qu'ont prise les événements. Quel que soit votre point de vue sur les questions en jeu, je vous encourage à réfléchir sérieusement aux événements de 2012. En tant qu'étudiant en gestion, vous quittez l'université à un moment particulièrement intéressant. Montréal, le Québec et le Canada, tous traversent une époque difficile, mais pas plus que le reste du monde. Part of the challenge for any entrepreneur or manager is balancing a number of contradictory pressures: the requirements of the company or the institution and the desires of employees, the long-term needs and the short-term requirements, the necessity of making a profit or meeting your budget, and the welfare of your community. You've probably already learned that a strike is painful, emotional, and divisive, but it also creates solidarity and a sense of community. Some of the significant social changes in Canadian history have emerged from strikes, whether they were successful or unsuccessful in achieving their goals. The Winnipeg General Strike in 1919, the Asbestos Strike in 1949, the Radio-Canada Strike of 1959, and the Quebec Student Movement of the 1960s. All shaped a generation of leaders in the public and private sectors in Canada and in Quebec. Je ne me risquerai pas à prophétiser les effets à long terme qu'aura la grève étudiante de 2012, mais je crois qu'elle sera extrêmement significative pour votre génération. Réfléchissez bien et tentez d'en comprendre les tenants et les aboutissants. Think about it and try to understand it, regardless of whether you support it or not. J'ai mentionné plus tôt le sentiment d'appartenance à la communauté qui se forge lors d'une grève. En tant que commissaire aux langues officielles, j'ai eu l'occasion de voir quelle riche contribution les organismes communautaires paient à la société civile en enrichissant nos collectivités, que ce soit en servant des repas aux sans-abri, en célébrant la Fête du Canada, en travaillant comme bénévole dans des galeries d'art ou en écrivant pour les journaux communautaires. Toute activité a son apport communautaire. Whatever you do for the rest of your lives, you can find some link to the community in which you live. The explosion of new technologies has led some to worry that they may undermine our sense of community. This was a fear most vividly expressed by Robert Putnam in his book, Bowling Alone. Yet, while the distinction between real friends and Facebook friends may have eroded the understanding of true friendship, it is unquestionable that social media have provided new ways for people to form communities. Now, this has sometimes been misunderstood. At one point during the events in Tahrir Square in January 2011, the authorities thought they could put an end to the demonstrations by cutting off access to social media. Instead, thousands of people who had been following the Arab Spring from their laptops or from their smartphones at home poured into the streets to see what was happening. Ce désir d'appartenance à la communauté, qui se manifeste à l'échelle d'un quartier, en milieu de travail, par l'affiliation à un parti politique ou à un groupe communautaire, est, je crois, le signe d'une société saine. La participation n'est pas seulement gratifiante sur le plan personnel, elle enrichit le monde dans lequel nous vivons. As business graduates, you may be wondering if I'm talking to the wrong audience and I should be delivering these remarks to the School of Social Work. But the most successful companies are those that develop sensitivity to their customers, their employees, and their public environment, and treat them like a community. I'm thinking of companies that range from Apple to Xerox, that could include Desjardins, Fairmont, and Toyota. Here in Montreal, you are deeply fortunate. Your experience here at Concordia has been one of great cultural diversity in a city that is the incarnation of linguistic duality. The success of comedian Sugar Sammy, who cheerfully mocks everyone in both official languages, is proof that the language tensions of yesteryear are a matter for both laughter and public policy. Les communautés d'expression anglaises du Québec ont énormément évolué au cours des 40 ou 50 dernières années. La vitalité culturelle de Montréal est un témoignage de la richesse de leur contribution. Concordia is living proof of this evolution in its diversity, its academic excellence, and its bilingualism. If you have learned French, you have access to an extraordinarily vibrant cultural, social, and political society. If you've not, it's not too late. And the very process of learning your second or third language will expand your horizons, increase your social and interpersonal skills, and give you new perceptions. The summer I learned French, when I was 19, I was working on a student project, an archaeological dig at Île-aux-Noix, some 50 kilometers south of here. A fellow student who was herself perfectly bilingual said, as I was groping towards mastering my second language, "You know, you're very different in French than you are in English." And I snapped back, "Of course I'm different. I'm stupid, I'm inarticulate, and I have no sense of humor." And as I thought about that, I realized that is actually the immigrant experience. To come to a new society, imprisoned by an accent, not fully understanding the jokes, not understanding the cultural context. And so, in learning French, I not only learned more about my own country, I also developed a new sensitivity to immigration and cultural diversity. Another thing I've learned as Commissioner of Official Languages is that language mastery is a leadership competency. It is difficult to manage employees, serve customers, deal with the public, or coach hockey players if you do not speak their language. Ainsi, dans bien de milieux de travail au Canada et dans le monde entier, il est de plus en plus important de parler plus d'une langue pour réussir en affaires. Vous occupez également une position privilégiée pour promouvoir l'utilisation des deux langues officielles dans le milieu des affaires. On a tendance à présumer qu'on apprend mieux de ses réussites que le renforcement positif conféré par le succès d'une entreprise ou d'une activité rend plus facile les progrès et l'amélioration. Cette idée se trouve au cœur même de certaines théories de l'éducation sur l'estime de soi. However, I have to say that I learned as much, if not more, from failure as I did from success. One of the events in my professional life that taught me most was being fired. Not, I have to say, for misconduct. I was, in that particular job, what's now called not the right fit. I was not the right person for that particular organization, and the boss decided that I should be fired. I learned when things go badly at work, there's a natural tendency to scramble the information, to say the problem has been solved when it hasn't, or to think a supervisor must simply be in a bad mood or having a bad day. I learned that those who get fired, and this applies to business executives and cabinet ministers as well as employees, are usually the last to know. Certainly, I was. Tout mon entourage l'avait compris, moi pas. J'ai donc appris à être plus sensible à mon environnement de travail, plus sensible à ce qui se passait autour de moi, plus compréhensif envers ceux et celles qui avaient des ennuis sans le savoir. You are on the edge of a new and important phase of your lives and the next stage of learning, whether in academia, in the workplace, or in life. I learned something about the value of community, the importance of learning another language, and the lessons of failure. To paraphrase David Golden, go out and learn your own life lessons. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.